Welcome to the Miami Heat Zone podcast. We are pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button. And thank you for all the support. Today, we have Amir from Team to Beat Miami Heat. Make sure that you guys go to his channel, hit that subscribe button, and show him some love. He's pushing to 3,000 subscribers. Now, there's a lot of people saying, how come Jimmy Butler can pretty much say he wants to go to Phoenix? The problem is that he hasn't said it publicly. Remember, there's a reason why Bernie Lee came out and called Shams a liar and said that they do not want to go to the Phoenix Suns. Because remember, you can technically get penalized for publicly saying you want to go to another team. That is why Bernie Lee has pretty much went through backdoor channels. Why do you guys think that Shams now has been running with this for months? Why? Because it's been happening through backdoor channels. So remember, when Damian Lillard, of course, says that he wanted to go to the Miami Heat and the Miami Heat only, there was a huge problem. He's getting letters in the mail from the NBA. But mind you, every other single all-star in the league could do that. But like I said, that is the exact reason why Jimmy Butler has not gotten in trouble and why Adam Silver has been quiet, because they haven't said it publicly. They're doing it through backdoor channels. And even when it came out publicly, Bernie Lee denied it. Now, Amir, we're getting a bunch of trade rumors left and right, and obviously everything isn't true. But when you look at the possibility of the Suns trading Kevin Durant, do you think that that's something that the Miami Heat can get involved in? Should they do that? Do you think they have the assets? Because at this point, anyone can go anywhere.
Yes, they should. They should trade Jimmy Butler to the Suns. If the Suns want Jimmy bad enough, then give us Kevin Durant, because no one wants Bradley Beal. He has one of the worst contracts in the NBA. He has a no trade clause. He's 31 years old. He's been injury prone since he's 26 years old. Yes, he had some amazing seasons with the Wizards, got that no trade deal, got that max contract. Good for him. He earned it to a certain degree, but I don't find it where a team is really going to take on Bradley Beal's contract. Like, unless there's some under the table crap going on, or the NBA is rigged truly with the whole Luka stuff, right? That we've talked about at other videos. Like, I don't see a world where Jimmy gets to the Suns and another team is willing to take on Bradley Beal's contract. I don't know why another team would. They say he can go to Chicago and reunite with Billy Donovan, his former college coach. They just got rid of Zach LaVine's horrible contract, who was making 40-something million per year, right? And like had 2-3 years left on his max contract. Like, they took bad players on purpose for Zach LaVine because they wanted to get off his contract. So it's like, I don't see that happening. So, hey, guess what? If you want Jimmy Butler that bad, and Jimmy, if you want to go to the Suns that bad, give us Kevin Durant. Maybe Jimmy could be a better fit for the Suns, playing next to a Devin Booker and even to Bradley Beal, right? Being that kind of defensive-minded, clutch veteran. Give us Kevin Durant. He would fit so well on this team. Could you imagine Kevin Durant, even at age, what is he, 36 right now? 36. He is probably the best scorer in NBA history. One of the most elite scorers and also just elite players in the NBA. He would fit so well next to Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. Is it a reality? No, because we don't have the assets. Because one, they want Jimmy Butler to play with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant wants Jimmy Butler on this team versus having Bradley Beal. That's the dilemma right there, is that Kevin Durant wants Jimmy Butler on that team. So there's no way. We have no other players that they would be willing to take. He is also making 50 million, something like that a year, right? They can't aggregate. So it's Kevin Durant for who? Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez, Jovic? No, they'll say no still, even at this stage, because Kevin Durant is still averaging 27 points per game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 40% from 3. It's a pipe dream. I would love it if he came on to the Miami Heat, especially if we can involve that Jimmy Butler for Durant, which that's not going to happen. But he hasn't requested a trade. That's the issue. Like, he hasn't signed an extension, but he needs Jimmy Butler and the Phoenix Suns to do everything in their power to make this work, because they're the most expensive team in the NBA right now, and they're 9th in the West. They just lost to the Blazers fully healthy. So my opinion is I would love Kevin Durant on this team. Can it happen? No. He hasn't requested a trade. Like, there's no way it's going to happen. But Luka just got traded to the Lakers for freaking Anthony Davis in 1 pick. So anything is possible, like KG says in the past. So,
Yeah, I mean, that's like, if they trade Kevin Durant, that means they're going young, and I think they really should. I mean, obviously Bradley Beal, you could probably get off of him next season, but if they trade Kevin Durant, let's just say to the Golden State Warriors, they can get a Kuminga to pair, with Devin Booker, because that team's not winning anything. It's long overdue. They should definitely blow it up. Getting Jimmy Butler doesn't even necessarily guarantee them anything at all, because
No.
that all has to come together. But like I said, if they do trade Kevin Durant, I think it's going to be for young pieces like a Kuminga, and then you just move into the future with Devin Booker as that young piece. And then, like I said, you get off Bradley Beal whenever you can get off of his contract. Now, in terms of a multiple team deal, because now the Miami Heat are pretty much saying that they're going to pivot from the whole Phoenix Suns thing, which is they should have done that a long time ago. Bradley Beal made it clear he's not going to pretty much pick up his family and move again after they're already settled into Phoenix, which I understand. People really underrate, how big family and all those little things matter in the NBA. So what do you think of a potential like 4-team deal between the Phoenix Suns, then you have the Golden State Warriors, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Miami Heat, where you would see possibly Paul George go to Golden State, you would see Wiggins go to the Philadelphia 76ers, and then for the Miami Heat, pretty much role players from all those teams would pretty much in salary or maybe one, maybe two first round picks going to the Miami Heat.
God, there's no way we get more than one first round pick if we're lucky. But pre-Luca trade, pre-Luca NBA, which was only 3 days ago on Saturday, right? Saturday night. Um, I would say no, not going to happen because the Warriors shopped around off season. They were speculated to potentially signing Paul or trading for Paul George last year, and they didn't. Right, so if they didn't do it last year, kind of like how the Heat didn't get Bradley Beal 2 seasons ago, right? He went to the Phoenix Suns for 5 second-round picks. He said Miami, 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 right? Like those two teams he would waive his no trade clause for were Suns and Miami. But Miami has always been linked. He's been friends with Bam Adebayo. We didn't do it then, right? Why would we do it now? In terms of people saying, "Hey, if you want to get Jimmy Butler to the Suns, just take on Bradley Beal and those three first round picks." We're not going to do it because he still has 2 years after this year left, 110 million, no trade clause, injury prone. So why, in my opinion, why would the Warriors take on Paul George? You see how cooked he is this season. He's already missed double-digit games. He's already podcasting more than he plays games. He's averaging career like not career low, but like 16, 17 points per game. Like he hasn't averaged that since his second or third season with the Pacers before he came like superstar-esque and went head-to-head with our LeBron James, right, in the Eastern Conference Finals back in the day. So that's my concern is, yes, I get it. You flip Wiggins for him, theoretically, but he still has 4 years left, including this year, 200 million, and he's 34. Like, what is that going to look like? And why would they do that? Like, Jimmy's less of a risk, I would say, right? Because Paul George has had significant injuries, right? Jimmy has been banged up. He's missed 20, 25 games here. Paul George has missed seasons. He's missed 50 games. You know what I mean? He's missed 40 games consistently. So it's a little bit different. So, but post Luka world, right? Post this NBA where anything can happen, Golden State could like throw out all the logic and say, yeah, screw it. Let's take Paul George. Let's get Wiggins off there, right? And then
The problem is, which I would obviously keep Wiggins instead of Paul George, but think about it. The Golden State Warriors are desperate because think about it. Yesterday they called for LeBron to see if LeBron's available. They called to see if Paul George was available. They've been wanting Jimmy Butler for the longest time. So they're going around calling every single team because they're pretty much desperate. When you're calling multiple teams and asking for their star and what it takes 2 days before the trade deadline, they do not want to waste Stephen Curry's few seasons that he has left. They still think they can compete, and I really do think they can if they put the right player. I think they should have traded those two young guys to get a guy like, Lauri Markkanen a long time ago. That deal should have been done because at the end of the day, their young guys are not that good to carry along with Stephen Curry. So they should have definitely flipped those guys earlier when Lauri was available. But back to this trade. If you have Wiggins going to the 76ers, obviously now Jimmy Butler is going to the Phoenix Suns, and then you would have Paul George going to the Golden State Warriors because you're right. I think that what Paul George is doing right now is a failure. You know what I'm saying? Ever since he's pretty much been with the Clippers, he's been a loser. Has he been playing a little bit better in terms of when he was with that last season with the Clippers? Yes. But outside of that, it's been a complete failure everywhere Paul George has been since the Pacers. I'm not saying that this 14 deal is going to happen. I just think it's the most realistic because whatever combination of role players from those three teams would come to the Miami Heat in some way, shape, or form.
but why would the Warriors want Paul George's contract after he's missed 15 games
They're
and
desperate.
he looks washed? Like, wow,
No,
that's my only concern.
yeah, true.
What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts? Like, how you
They're
think they're
desperate.
that desperate? Because like I understand they're shopping around and looking for other stars to add next to Curry, but even adding a Paul George or a Butler is not enough. They're the 11th seed. Like, for them to actually compete, they need a Vucevic, they need Alonzo, like they need like the buyout candidates. Like, they need those type of players with a Paul George if Paul George came. I'm not saying the Paul George piece would be the worst for the Golden State Warriors, but it's just he's older, his contract, his injury history, right? That doesn't seem like a recipe that makes the most sense, but you're still putting a guy that is capable next to Steph Curry. That's the thing. Like, he still has the namesake Paul George, averaging 17 points per game. But he was averaging 22, 23 last year. Like, his shooting percentages are down. Like, it's just he looks off, right? Like, he looks like Father Time is catching up on him. And I don't know. I don't know if that would work, honestly, but I agree with you that if Jimmy gets traded, it looks like it's got to be like a 3 or 4 team deal, especially if he wants to go to the Suns. That's the only way it's possible. If he goes to the Suns, 3 team, 4 team, possibly, right? Or my other thought, Martel, we wait till Thursday, whatever time it ends, 3 o'clock or what is it, 12 o'clock my time,
Just
2
don't be
o'clock.
surprised if he's not traded.
But I'm just saying, I think teams, perhaps, if you can't get to the Suns, are going to wait to the last minute, whatever the last minute, the same day, Thursday. We'll see. A few hours into it, that's when the Heat might get desperate and take anything. That's where they can take the cheapest deal. So the Warriors, the Grizzlies, the Bucks, other teams, right? Let's say the Suns are out of it because they can't get Beal in a 3-team deal. I feel like Jimmy Butler will get traded on Thursday in the final hour, final minutes of that trade, because this is where the teams can lowball them the most, where the Miami Heat might be the most desperate. And I mean, like, not the Miami Heat also will not take pennies. They will take nickels, right? We're not taking pennies on the dollar, but Pat Riley's stingy. We know that. He's going to take nickels or dimes on the dollar, right? He still wants something, and it could be that Memphis deal, or it could be that, and I don't want that. I don't want these deals. These are shitty deals for Jimmy Butler. The Miami Heat are screwed either way in this scenario. Like, it's not ideal that, like, Marcus Smart, Brandon Clark, Luke Kennard, are you freaking kidding me? But that might be the deal we have to take in the last minute. Bobby Portis, Middleton, throw in Gary Trent Jr., that might be the kind of deal. You know what I mean? Like, I could see that happening, those teams waiting to the day of. And that's the type of deals we have to take, just the contracts. Match the salaries. Here's a second-round pick. Get it done, Pat. Get it done, or keep them on your team, right? That's what I think it's going to come down to if the Suns team trade, 4-team trade that you just said right now, doesn't work out. So we'll see. What are your thoughts? Do you think the 4-team will work out, or do you think we keep them?
The biggest pillar is Bradley Beal.
It
I
is.
just listen, like, he doesn't want to leave. So there is no 14 deal until that pillar is knocked down. Until Bradley Beal says, you know what, I'll go to whichever team. The minute that happens, the deals will be flooding in, and bro, we'll have a 10-team deal because there's a bunch of teams: the Wizards, the Charlotte Hornets, the Detroit Pistons, the Toronto Raptors, the Chicago Bulls. They want to help facilitate
Yes.
a Jimmy Butler trade. So that's one of the biggest things. And then also, too, you're going to see teams possibly make marginal moves because, like what you said, Lonzo Ball, I think, is a steal. Whoever gets Lonzo Ball on a possible buyout or for 2 first-round picks, which I think the Miami Heat should be at the front of the line. I know people are going to say his injury concerns, but he's been playing well. He's been playing great defense for the Chicago Bulls this season. And if you're able to put a 3-and-D bigger guard next to Tyler Hero, playmaker, I think that would be phenomenal for the Miami Heat, especially going into the future where now you have Lonzo, Tyler, Bam, where, you have a great group of young guys, and you can possibly even still flip Lonzo going into the future, depending on how things go. I definitely like Vucevic, and there's a lot of other good role players that's going to be out there. So we're going to have to sit back and watch. It's like what you said. Trades can happen at any point in time in various ways. Anyone can be traded depending on franchises, what they want to do. Could they go young? Do they want to stay old? There's a lot of different possibilities. And of course, the buyout market is going to be very interesting. But guys, make sure that you guys go to Amir's channel. Hit that subscribe button. He's pushing a 3,000 subscribers team to beat Miami Heat. Thank you guys for all the support. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Make sure that you guys like, share, comment, subscribe. And thank you for all the support.